And we're scuffed, but good to see you guys. We're here a little bit scuffed there. It's all right. Just standard amount of scuff. Just a little bit.
Objection.
But we're getting into the Asmon versus Mizkif documents. These things actually dropped a little while ago, and I posted one of them on my X, but I wanted to go through them today. They're not the level of the Tectone file, so we're not going to be here for hours and hours, but it may take about, I think, an hour or two to get through it. So we'll try to get that. And then what I'll try to do is I'm going to try to sync this up right now and get the timing exactly right, because I have a fast facts on the clavicular situation, which this will direct you to. So you get a whole new set of information on clavicular and that arrest, those felony charges. We're going to get into that today. Mudang's doing great. Okay, she's a little bit back on the pedal there, but she's got her Fire Tiger hat on today. She's doing great. So we got Mizkif, we got Mudang in the house for the Mizkif madness. Don't let Emaru anywhere near Mudang, because if Emaru had Mudang and threw Mudang at Mizkif would not be here today. You know, he is lucky. He is lucky that she was throwing a Kirby and not throwing a Mudang, because he would be dead. He'd just be dead if he was throwing instead of Kirby. Dutch Geo, member for 1 month, says, hi, hey, what's going on? It's early morning here, but I'm awake. I've been this creature of the night for the past couple days. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make it a productive evening and make sure we do a live, some good information, good content out there. Elpire Ava giving 5 legal mindset memberships. Thanks so much, Ava. Love you. Yes. Always support our elves. Rigo says here, oh, the Keebler Help is into the chat and dropping memberships. Anyways, how's everyone doing? She is more than a Keebler elf. She's a Keebler law elf. You got to get it right. She's a legal elf, okay? And up there in the free ring category. Frosty Fire gifted 20 legal mindset memberships. We're doing Somali coverage soon. Possibly tonight we'll do a pre-trial coverage of Somali, so I'll throw a little bit in there here.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
There we go. We got that coverage coming up because that trial is on the 11th. It's around, I believe it's around 1 p.m. my time. So that's about, 3-ish, 4-ish. So we'll definitely have live for that. Now we may end up doing, depending on what happens, whether it's open or closed, we may end up doing a after report, because it may be a closed hearing, but we're definitely going to give you updates from that as it happens. So you're going to get live Somali trial updates as they happen on the 11th, and we'll have an update tomorrow too as well. Fallen Hero 4567 gifted 5 legal mindset memberships. Thank you so much.
Emotional cabbage.
Appreciate that. And if you received a membership, whether it was from Ava, Fallen Hero, or Frostfire, make sure you say thank you very much to them in the chat, because now you have access to the members only streams, the emojis, all that good stuff. And I make sure to do at least one members only every month for everybody, and then one for BLM only, where we just get based. And I may or may not be wearing a suit in that. I've decided for my members only, I may go suitless. It may happen. It happened last time. All right. So let's jump right into this. And I may or may not play at the end of this the Don P. Bongwater Mizkif video. It is more likely to happen. Can I move my hair to the side? Is it not? Am I not handsome enough for you? I'm sorry. I'll nitpick there. It's okay. Magic Misa says, I love picking on Ava as her non-consensual adoptive elf mom. It's non-consensual mom. How can you be a non-consensual mom? I want to know how that functions. Doesn't there have to be some element of consent? I don't know. Rigo 92 gifted 20 legal mindset memberships. We'll double up on this one.
Yes.
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
That one lagged to cut off there. Species 3167 dropping 20 legal mindset memberships. Thank you guys very, very much.
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
I will also say, I commented a little bit this on my member stream, and I'll say this here. I'm a little bit sad that Emaru ended up issuing an apology on the whole, no ice commentary thing where she was kind of poked at because she didn't have a political opinion. She ended up giving an opinion on that. A little bit unfortunate there. I understand her positioning, but it isn't fun to be bullied into taking a position. Elpire Ava gifted 5 legal mindset memberships. I'm an orphan in D&D, and people keep adopting me. It's kind of crazy. But forceful adoption, I feel like that's like indentured servitude. Lots of stuff to catch up on. I didn't know Aspen and Mizkif had a hearing. They had a lot of filing. So we're going to go over the filings today. Now, at first, I thought these had been already approved. They have not. I am very sure that Aspen is on the side of going to win this. So I can't say 100% because you never know with lawsuits. Even when you're very sure about things coming out one way, it can always happen another way. You never know. But right now, based on the filings themselves, I think that Aspen is going to win his motion to dismiss, and I think it's going to be granted. So we're going to get into that today. Plurberry, so don't forget to give your Mog wife some flowers in a few days. Mog, do I have a Mog wife? Does Mog stand for something? I don't know. Let's see. Is it Gen Z slang? I know what mogging is. That's the clavicular thing, but like not MOG. I just think like a Moggle from Final Fantasy, which that just dates me. Rigo92 says, since we got arcade trial coverage coming up, any chance the insanity please? Insanity plea. Sorry, not sorry.
Objection.
I'm not allowing any insanity plea today. We're not doing that. We're not doing the insanity plea. But we are doing the documents, and we've got those here for you guys today. No PP today. We're just going straight raw dog in the documents. So we're going to get into the amended complaint, which is 24 pages. And then we've also got the separate filing here, which is their response to the amended complaint and the motion to dismiss as well. So let's get right into that today. So here we go. And no, I don't. These are all public court documents. So I'm going to make the statement here, as I do when I cover all this stuff. These are public court documents, so no, I'm not censoring people's names. They put those out there, even though I don't think this is Mizkif's real name, Matthew Ronaldo. I think it's actually something different. But that said, this is all publicly available court documents. Everybody can access these. These are not hidden. These are out there. These are circulating, so anybody can go and get this information if they want it. And if anybody messages me and says they want me to send them these documents, I will send them to them, just like I do with the Tectone files. But you could get them yourself. So these are not hidden at all whatsoever. Alper Ava said, if Aspen wins via motion to dismiss based, that will be absolutely glorious, because it just shows a motion to dismiss is a preliminary motion. It shows that you don't even need to get to the evidence. You don't even need to get to discovery. There's no basis for this BS. It's such a blow out of the water. And I know that it's going to be granted. I just have a feeling. I got a good feeling this is going to be granted. Can't say it's a guarantee, but it looks like this is going to be granted. And we're going to go through everything today. And it's versus obviously Emaru, Asmongold, OTK, Mythic, and King Game Lab. So here you go. Defendants OTK, Mythic, and King's response to the amended complaint. Upon review and analysis of and I'll get you a last super chat in a second, Marcus. Upon review and analysis of plaintiff's amended complaint, defendants OTK Media, Mythic, and King Game Labs, collectively, the moving defendants have determined that nothing in the amended complaint changes the moving defendant's position stated in its motion to compel to plaintiff's response in opposition to the motion to compel. Indeed, the causes of action in plaintiff, that's Mizkif's, original complaint that were subject to the motion to compel are identical to those pled in the amended complaint. There's no discernible impact on the motion to compel for any new factual allegations in the amended complaint. Accordingly, moving defendants, that's everybody but Mizkif, respectively request that the court apply its fully briefed motion to compel to the amended complaint and compel arbitration. So doing this secretly, right? Not in the court system. We're doing this in arbitration. Against Mythic, and stay all counts 1 through 3 against OTK, Mythic, and King, pending a decision on the motion to compel, and if applicable, issuance of a final arbitration award. So saying, hey, Mythic had an arbitration clause. You've got to arbitrate. You don't have the proof there. So all of that's going to get blown out of the water. So Mythic taking its count to arbitration, and then everything else stayed, which means paused pending the arbitration. So this would really, really, really be a big blow to Mizkif's side. So Mizkif obviously not liking this. Obviously not good for little Mizzy. Mark show agreements be validly enforced even long after no one works at set place. That really, we'd have to look at the agreement specifically and which one it is. Confidentiality is a little bit complicated. It can last for a certain period of time, but typically courts do not like unlimited NDAs and do not like unlimited confidentiality. So if it's something that's going to go on forever and ever, there's usually a point at which the court will say, yeah, we're not going to buy that anymore. It's kind of like non-competes, where they don't like unlimited non-competes. They don't like unlimited NDAs. And especially if they're not giving you anything in exchange for that NDA, you didn't receive any other benefit from that. That's something that can be invalidated by the court. But once again, it's a case-by-case basis. So I can't say unless I look at the document. Rigo 92 for 10 says, if no insanity today, then when? When? I'll start this shower of gold for the rest of the DJs in the chat. Please keep up doing the good work, even if I don't watch as often as I used to. That's perfectly fine. Hey, as long as you catch the streams, and I'm going to try to do as many as I can when there's topics like this one that I want to cover. I definitely will be out here doing as much work as I can. Trying to catch up. It was a slow month, but we still got a lot of stuff going on in February. So we've got a lot of stuff to catch up on. Another man for 5 Canadian says, wouldn't it make sense to link public documents in a pinned comment description after lives? Sure, I could, but they're often in separate links. They're not like one click. But what I could try to do, let's see. I can try to find a way to host them and then maybe get that link. But essentially, you know, when you pull them from the court site, you're pulling off separate PDFs, right? So these are all PDF files, right? Not to be confused with what people are accused of on the internet every day. These are PDF files, right? So they were kind of individual, but it's possible to get those out. And once again, if you you link the court listener based docket, yeah, we could do that. That's a good idea. Ava the lawyer with a good idea, of course. So yeah, we could link the court listener or another main one. That's definitely possible. If you guys want to do that. We're not doing a Google Doc. We are not doing a Google Doc. We're not doing that. But yeah, I got to be careful because obviously there's certain things that I want to make sure are protected and not, right? And I want to make sure nothing crosses any lines or constitutes any violation of YouTube's terms of service, right? Because we want to be on the good side here, right? Google Docky. Yes. I know everyone's excited. All the VTuber people are excited for Google Docs, although I freaking hate them. Can we do a baking stream? Well, I will not be the baker if there's a baking stream. I will have to hire a baker, and then I can be issuing commentary as they bake stuff. I'm not a good baker. Danielle's a good baker. No, I'm not. All right. Let's get into the main action here. Not going to save that. This is the motion to dismiss. This is some good stuff, and this is by Asmongold. So this is why it's Asmongold versus Mizkif, because this is pretty much Asmongold's explanation, his kind of rebuttal of Mizkif's case. And this, he's submitted a proposed motion to dismiss. So he's got a proposed motion to dismiss out there, which the judge, I think, will grant. Rocambeau Blue, remember for 23 months, has got some snacks, pancake with Nutella. It's going to be good. Emotion of Smith would be hilarious and glorious. Oh, it'd be absolutely great. And it'd just be a total Asmon W. Total Asmon W. I had some snacks earlier. Got some granola bars and some paprika sausage. It was pretty good. But yeah, just hanging out tonight with you guys, which is what I like to do. All right. Here we go. Defendant Zach Hoyt, that's Asmongold. I'm just going to say Asmongold. And shout out to everybody, by the way, who is on Locals, Kick, every single platform. I see all of you. Senpai notices all of you. So I see all you guys in the chat over there. Mr. Eggplant, I see Mixed Skittles over there on Kick. All you guys hanging out, whatever platform you're on, Locals. I love all you guys. Appreciate everybody on all the platforms. Okay. Asmongold moves to dismiss Plaintiffs, that's Mizkif, amended complaint pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12B6, that's the basic rule of procedure for motion to dismiss, for failure to state a claim. It's so embarrassing. Guys, you got to realize, like, if you lose at motion to dismiss, it's pretty much like saying you don't got, you don't have anything. You don't have a case at all. Like, we don't even need to get to evidence. We don't need to have any other proof. You have no case at all on its face, period. It's so embarrassing to be blown out of motion to dismiss. And I just feel like that's the way it's going to go here. Poor man John Doe says, can Asmon go after Mizkif for his legal fees? Not typically, but it's something that, is possible if there's bad faith, and it also depends a lot on the local rules as well. But good question. Okay, an alternative moves for a more definite statement under Rule of Civil Procedure 12E. Plaintiffs Matthew Misrenindo. Hold on. Asmongold, Chad Move here, gives his actual name because he put this like other alias here, Ronaldo versus Miss Renindo, right? Which is an actual name. So puts his real name down there because he's trying to dox everybody else in his court filings. He's trying to dox Emeru, dox Asmongold, even though their information's out there and people know, right? And he's trying to put this fake name. And so in the response, he puts his real name, right? Excellent move by Asmongold and his lawyer by doing that and trying to make it even, right? Because if you're going to do that, then the opposite side's going to do that, right? You're trying to hide over there, little Mizzy, and it's not going to work. Your demon time is cute, but it's not ultimately always effective. At a separate LLC, Mizkif Enterprises LLC brings this lawsuit alleging defamation against Asmongold. Mizkif streams and promotes his own videos under the name Mizkif. Mizkif accuses Asmon of making defamatory statements about him, primarily in a single video where Hoyt, that's Asmon, is providing opinions and commentary about Mizkif's own video confessions about his own behavior. So think about this for a second. Mizkif thinks it's defamation for Mizkif to tell on himself. So reviewing Mizkif telling on himself is defamation. I mean, that's just like, it's comical. It's freaking comical. I mean, he's snitching on himself. Elpire Ava says, if you lose the motion to dismiss, it's time to retire. I know. Demon time is over. You were a cute little demon. It didn't work. You got to go back to demon training camp. Got to go back, get your demon diapers on. Right? Okay. Mizkif is a public figure. Yes, they're both public figures, by the way. Describing Mizkif's lifelong pursuit of being a public figure and statistics about his publicity. They're definitely public figures. Now complains that Asmon, after listening to and reading Mizkif's own public statements, gave commentary about Mizkif's public statements. Mizkif, however, will not give the court any of the context in the pleading, or it would be obvious that nothing he is upset about is actionable as a defamation claim. This is hilarious, bro. It's like, if he actually gave the full context and showed everything, it would just show that he's just being butthurt, essentially. Like, that nothing is actually legally actionable. For these are quotes from Mizkif's own video where he describes his own behavior, right? In the video that defendant Asmongold was commenting about. Mizkif says, I punched holes in the wall or slammed doors in aggression. Mizkif, The Truth, YouTube, October 26, 2025. He literally said he did it. He admitted that he punched holes in the wall. There's no doubt about that. So commenting and saying he punched holes in the wall is just stating back the facts that he said. Who cares? YouTube said he's saying trying to do some type of Jedi mind trick, but looks like it's backfiring on him. It's not, I mean, if this is Jedi, this is like the sketchy Jedi. This is like the Jedi that were like too into the weird, sacrament stuff. Because if there's one thing about the Jedi, they were a little bit too into their own weirdness, right? The Jedi were a little weird, not going to lie. I sometimes side with the Empire. I'm just saying. All right. Continuing here. I'm not going to go back to the place I once was. I was suicidal, depressed, and taking every type of drug possible to fix my brain, which, by the way, I am empathetic with Mizkif for that. I mean, obviously, that's something that sucks. I've talked about having depression, and that sucks, but that doesn't give you an ultimate pass on everything, right? Especially criminal behavior. Anyways, continuing. And in doing that, I hurt myself more. I was on steroids because I thought it would fix myself. I was taking shrooms every day to fix my brain, but that destroying. What type of shrooms were you taking there? That does not sound like the legal type of shrooms to me. I tried acid and that backfired. Well, that's definitely not legal. That's definitely illegal. That's definitely confessing to crimes in 4K. In doing that, I know I effed up so bad and hurt so many people around. I lashed out. I was angry out of my mind. Well, at least, I mean, to be honest, okay. Points for confessing and being honest, but at the same time, once you say those things, people can use them, and they are going to use them whether they're out of context or they're bad faith, etc. So you can't sue for defamation after you've said that, even if what you're doing is being honest, etc. Right? So even if what he's doing is maybe morally okay, it may not be legally permissible to now sue on that. Rocambola Blue for 20 Norwegian krona says, I defamed myself. It's Asmongold fault. Mizkif. Objection. Yeah, that's what happened there. And then Eager Name dropping 50 legal mindset memberships. Thank you so much.
Hello, Beso Department.
Very based. In fact, we'll throw in an extra little
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
go, guys. Make sure you say thank you to Eager Name if you receive one of those 50 gifts. That is very generous, and I do appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see here. Anvac 6145 says, what are the rules and limits for abuse of courts, or whichever is the accurate term for abusing legal methods for personal gain or grudge? That's very true. It depends on the jurisdiction, but you can essentially have award of attorney's fees. You can have other things, like there can be sort of anti-slap motions that might be appealed here or gone to. There can be other punishments, but typically it's a financial burden shifting. So there might be attorney's fees costs that are shifted over. That's typically the mechanism that's done if the parties are found to be abusing the system or in grievous misuse of the system. So that's typically what happens. Sebastian Mula 7013 says, never going to give you up, never going to let you down, never going to run around and desert you. Insanity plea to Mizkif. You will never escape this, Andrew. I know.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
Yeah, that's that. I'm never going to escape the insanity plea. Don't worry, we got Somali coming up tomorrow. All right. I did take steroids, and that gave me insane anger issues. So coming out and saying that, once again, honest, right? Honest, but at the same time, it's a thing that people can use against you. They can say, hey, you had anger issues because you were taking steroids. And yes, the case is in Texas. I don't know if someone asked that, by the way, but this is a Texas case. So everything's bigger in Texas. All right. Let's see here. I said, if she's going to go after me, then I will go nuclear. And that's exactly what I said. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So he admitted, hey, I'm going to go nuclear. And then he went nuclear, right? Quote unquote. Right. This is his nuclear. His nuclear's here. All right. Here's the chat log. Let's read the chat log here. And it's a little small. So here, maybe I'll try to enhance this and you guys can see a little better. I'm on SSRIs and have been a lot better. I have a therapist and EMDR1 for trauma. I expect you all to stay. I'm sorry for those I've hurt over the years. This isn't a pity party. It's me taking accountability while letting you know the reality. So bad. Yes, shrooms fucked me. Every time I close my eyes since 2022, while I was in Austin, I envisioned different ways of killing myself. Well, that's definitely a bad trip on shrooms. I can neither conform nor deny having experience with shrooms, but that is definitely what I would say is a bad trip. And definitely that can happen. That can happen. If it doesn't change what I did in the past, I understand people will see that and not want to come back or not even talk to me. But I am proud of my progress this last year. I'm proud of who I'm becoming, and I feel more normal than ever. I take full accountability for who I was. I wish I I didn't go for drugs and really focused on fixing myself. I went for short-term fixes and it backfires. That does happen, right? Once again, Mizkif is not wrong about these things. Like that is true. Drugs are a very short-term fix. They're not a long-term fix. They're just getting you through that short time. I got off steroids about a full year ago, and you just can't get off it because I don't want you guys to know it was embarrassing. You could tell when it gave me insane anger issues. I did take steroids. In doing that, I know I fucked up so bad and hurt many people around me. I lashed out. I was angry out of my mind. I tried acid and that backfired. So for 2 years, all I did was take shrooms to fix my brain and steroids to fix myself. I would take my head and push it into the pool, trying to drown myself on shrooms. That is bad. That is definitely bad. I like that in the chat. First rule of hallucinogenics: don't give them to people in dark places. Yeah, you should be in a happy place, not in a dark place. But I'm not recommending that to anybody. It's not a doctor's order here, right? But just saying that's not good if you're doing shrooms while you're in a bad place. I would take my head and push into a pool trying to drown myself. Never take shrooms when depressed. That's pretty fair assessment there. I was taking shrooms every day to fix my brain, but that destroyed me. I was on steroids because I thought it would fix myself more, and in doing, I hurt myself. And I'm not going to go back to the place I once was. I was suicidal, depressed, and taking every type of drug possible to short-term fix my brain. I've been in therapy for almost a year, been working on myself, and I'm going to continue to do so. It's not weird. People don't know because people don't watch me. I've done a lot of wrong in the years on Twitch, and I wish I could take it back. But a lot of I've been working on myself for a past year hard. Just chill. I'm getting people saying this place is freaking out. So these are quotes from Mizkif. Once again, pretty serious stuff there, saying that he was doing pretty much every drug imaginable and other stuff. And once again, Eurocligane, member for 17 months, says, demon time can't beat roach time. Well,
ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
That's a pretty good one. Chat doesn't take drugs take chat. Yeah, don't I mean there are instances, I'll say this, where people have positive and healing effects of psychedelic substances, right? There are people, if you listen to Joe Rogan, for example, right? There's people that have come on there and talked about positive, effects of psychedelics. And there's a lot of research on that says it's possible, right? That there can be therapeutic effect, but especially if you're not in a good state of mind and you're doing these things and you're taking a lot of different drugs, there's no supervision here, right? There's no doctor's supervision or supervision of somebody who's more experienced in this. That can be a really bad thing. So yeah. The only drugs we need are feet sniffing. That is, sir.
Degenerates. You guys degenerates.
And someone mentioned dosage. Yeah, it could be he was just dosing himself wrong or just taking it too much, right? That could be a thing. And this can drive people off the edge. Absolutely. Okay. Mizkif openly admits that he was violent, hurt people, and lashed out and had insane anger issues, took a host of drugs, and then told Emiru he would go nuclear on her when speaking publicly about what happened. Okay. Mizkif likewise admits that in his relationship with Emiru, he slammed doors and punched holes in the wall in aggression. And all of that before any alleged commentary by defendant Asmongold. Yet Texas law requires courts to review allegedly defamatory statements for the gist of the meaning, considering the surrounding circumstances. So we held that making the initial determination of whether a publication is capable of defamatory meaning, we examine its gist. I like that word. That is, we construe the publication as a whole. So thus, plaintiffs must provide or to state a claim for relief that the alleged defamatory statements or the defamation by publication, but these are missing from even the amended complaint, making clear that plaintiff's lawsuit is a proverbial car without an engine. It can go nowhere. Bro, that is a good one. That is a good one. Make 6281 says, wait, I'll have to wait 12 more minutes to be an ill I don't know what. So here's a fast one. I'm in the Asmongold party, and I'm in the EU. Austria, what's up? Grüß Gott over there to Austrians. So let's go, Asben. What's up? Thank you for the 10 euros, and shout out to all my Austrians out there. I love Austria. Been to Vienna so much. The Pipe Baker, member for 20 months, says, would you say there are any positive applications of psychedelics to 9-year-olds? Asking for a learning center. Should children be taking psychedelics? I think that's a no. I think we can. I think I don't need to be a medical professional, because I'm not, and this is not medical advice because I am not a medical professional. But I don't think children should be taking psychedelics. I'm gonna go out here on a limb without having a medical degree and say I don't think children should be taking psychedelics. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. Yes, also Leering Center. I do like Leering Center. Let's keep the psychedelics away from the children, okay? Michael Turner, 9498, said Mizkif's self-medication is like trying to fix a transmission with a sledgehammer. And look, we all self-medicate, and I'll admit to my, I'll admit there's been times in which I've been going through stuff, and I've definitely self-medicated. Alcohol is definitely a self-medication, right? There's, you can be out there smoking weed, you can be out there doing whatever else is self-medication. That is self-medication. And sometimes it can help short term, but long term, you got to do the work. You got to go to therapy. You got to get maybe some more long term medication in there, whatever else. You got to do like the hard work to change yourself to fix that, right? It's just a short term patch to pass that period of time. Okay, let's continue here. Plaintiffs fail to meet the standard required by Rule 12 for that and other reasons, but at its most basic, Asmongold is entitled to know what the actual statement is, so it may be understood in context. Plaintiffs must put a publication into dispute to the extent they are arguing, as they seem to be, that the publication is the source of the claim. Asmongold believes, from what little he can gather from the pleading, that his alleged statements are either direct and fair reporting of Mizkif's own words and opinions about them. That's very important. Or other non-actionable and constitutionally protected activity. So the problem is Mizkif's complaint, and I went over this, is such trash that he doesn't actually explain what exactly was defamatory. It's just vague. Like, okay, Asmongold defamed me because he said some mean things about me. That's not enough. You need more than that, and that's what Mizkif had. Mizkif had, okay, he was mean. Asmongold was mean. Okay, what exactly did he say that was defamatory, right? That wasn't true. That wasn't one of your statements, Mizkif. That's the problem there. Anthony 3948V says for 10. The real question, Mr. Mindset Legal, is are you going to plead insanity when you finally snap it in chat? Objection. AB.
Emotional damage.
When you say insanity, although we will be getting into probably after this reviewing the Don P. Bongwater video, which is pretty nice, which will probably slip me into insanity. It's also got some curse words, so hopefully we get a little bit longer in this before we get in trouble with the censors. Okay. The amended complaint only makes it even clearer that the alleged statements all appear to be commentary about Mizkif's own admissions about his own bad behavior and harming others. But it's unclear what plaintiffs complain about, particularly considering that Mizkif said the same things about himself. Uh-oh. Poor Mizkif. Right? Poor Mizkif. Asman refuses, and the law agrees with him. Plaintiff's invitation to get inside the head of an elected, angry, violent drug user who goes nuclear on people and then try to guess what Mizkif describes as manipulating or hurting others. So Mizkif's thing is it was defamatory to say Asman to say he was manipulating or hurting others, even though he said that. Asman contends with a suffice of reasons that he cannot be held liable under the law for things that Mizkif has publicly admitted about himself. Mizkif factual background. Mizkif is a public figure with, and let me get these before we get into there. Mental problems go to steroids, synthetic hormone analog, profound effect on hormones, LSD, profound effect on serotonin as a hormone, actually crazy. Yeah. That could just drive you into the crazy zone for sure. How did you and Moodang for me in my 6 month? Hey, shout out. Appreciate you for your 17 months in the chat. But love everybody who's here and watching. Appreciate you guys. Elpire Ava said, did you see the Dompy Bongwater music video but for Nux? Yes, I did. That one's good. That one's good. Stuff was fire. Someone in Mizkif's chance of surviving this motion. We're going to watch the one on Mizkif after this. Big Buddhist is a new member or welcome as a reoccurring member. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here we go. Speaker says, let's just remember the case is going down in Travis County in Central California. Same one as Tectone. So remember that. So there's no telling how a judge will view this. Just saying, I'm from Texas myself. Now, this isn't much of a gender or politics issue because I think it's more of a on the facts issue. So it's not something where you're going to have a gender issue or a political issue. It's kind of an issue where it's on the law of defamation. So I'm hoping this is more fair, even though it's in Travis County. Since the case was thrown out, what is the case has not been thrown out yet. So we're thinking it will be. I'm speculating it will be as to Asmon's claims, but that's my speculation as for now. Let's continue. So both of them are public figures with millions of online followers, and they're part owners of OTK. Since at least 2023, Mizkif has made himself notorious on his account for reputed violence and aggression. So he's kind of made that his thing. For example, Mizkif can be seen in one video which demonstrates this. In this video, Mizkif is in the middle of the street slamming his brakes and engaging in an altercation, followed by screaming at a man crouched on the curb in the middle of an Austin neighborhood. The man is a public figure, Mr. Jones, who claims that Mizkif hit him until he was knocked out cold when Mizkif continued to beat on my face. Mr. Jones can be seen on a video with bruises and marks on his neck. I did not know that. I did not know about this. Big Buddhist says, my sublapse, I was a broke Buddhist. It happens. It happens. Broke happens to all of us, including me. Eagle Talrock, remember for 17 months. Thank you. Gamercron says, any thoughts on Emmy bending the knee to libtards? I don't think she should have done it, but I understand where she's coming from. And she has millions of followers, so she probably had millions of things in her inbox and wanted to clear things up. I get why she did it. She shouldn't have done it, but she did it, and I understand the reasons for it. So it's done now, right? It happened. And the people that are insane are not going to leave you alone, even if you bend the knee. You know, they're just not going to leave you alone. Doc Holiday 5472 says, I'm late. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing much better. Yeah, actually, I'm doing really good today. Let's continue here. Mizkif also got into a physical altercation with an owner of OTK at a company meeting. What the? Mizkif recently admitted that he had an incident with Nick, a part owner of OTK. Let's see here. More recently, Mizkif was in a romantic relationship with Emaru that he claims was toxic and violent by his own admission. He said it was toxic and violent. He admitted to shift the blame for violence in his relationship by stating before a statement by Asmongold that Emaru, a very petite young woman, was all violent. Oh, yes. Emaru was violent because she threw plushies. Yes. Yes. The ultimate plushie war. Mizkif describes the violence further. She would throw a plushie or clothing at him, though he admits to bruising her face by throwing things at her, slamming doors, and punching holes in walls. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, the Kirby, right? Yes. Unsurprisingly, the world did not love Mizkif's own admissions about his violence. Unsurprisingly, yes. When he began to equate a petite young woman allegedly throwing a plushie and his punching holes in the walls and throwing objects at her in a fashion that was more than likely malicious, right? Mizkif now feigns shock at why people think poorly of him after he said what he did, completely admitting all of his own words. So perfect there. And all of that happened before defendant Asmongold uttered any word at issue here. Against that backdrop, Mizkif claiming a variety of harms regarding these circumstances that are somehow not self-inflicted, but allegedly the fault of others. This case is admittedly unique. That's a one way to put it. Mizkif has chosen to file a federal lawsuit against defendant Asmongold about things he publicly admitted, which causes his defamation claim to collapse on multiple elements simultaneously. Yes, dude, this is exactly what I said from the beginning. Mizkif's case is possibly one of the worst cases ever because he just told on himself, and everything he put in his claim, it already fell apart based on what he's already said. He didn't have a claim already. It's hilarious. Sir Guard Pebble Niddle Soup for £5 says, to be fair, he has a point. Just think if she threw Mudang. Nobody is throwing Mudang, okay? If somebody threw Mudang, now Mudang could kill somebody. I don't throw Mudang. I just keep Mudang gently on the shelf there. She's just fine. We're not throwing Mudang around. Although I will admit, I may have thrown Mudang at one point, but not in a harmful way, just a playful way. Okay. Easy Baker, Bald King. Nice try, Demon Time, Fluffy Lover. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Mudang survived though. Mudang survived. Survived the cornate. What do you call it? Being possessed by corn. Right. She survived it. Okay. Let's continue. In ways that can overlap. For instance, we are talking about public figures. So plaintiff, Mizkif, must prove that defendant Asmongold still somehow said these things with the requisite intent. Remember, this has to be malicious intent. So in order for this to go down, it has to be malicious intent on the part of Asmongold. Malicious, meaning he knew it was a lie and he said it anyways. That's the standard. Plaintiff must show defendant acted with actual malice proven by clear and convincing evidence, the highest burden of proof in civil law. How can defendant Asmongold have had the intent if plaintiff just said these things or close enough to these things? Facts. Yet how can there be damages to plaintiff or causation of damages either? And how could the statements be false since defendant Asmongold was quoting from plaintiff's own statements that he just made? How can the statements even be perceived as defamatory if they're coming from plaintiff's own admissions? Even in a delusion, you can't make this defamatory. It's hilarious. The Shards family said, as more Pegasus says, demon time. All right. I like Pegasus videos. These questions are not merely rhetorical, as the gravamen of the complaint appears to be that Mizkif does not like what Mizkif himself admitted and what people thought about that. But that problem existed before defendant Asmongold even entered the discussion. The motion will begin with the last question, but addresses them all and why they mitigate all in favor of dismissal. So the defamation motion fails the motion to dismiss 12b6 standard for several independent reasons. First, plaintiff fails to allege facts sufficient to state a cause of action under Texas law. Second, the claim fails to clarify what allegations are such that Hoyt can join them in a defense or even know what plaintiffs are talking about. That's so good. That's so good. Third, plaintiff, that's Mizkif, bases her claim upon allegations that are time barred under Texas law. So you might have a limitation on time, which is a thing. McDuff says, McDuff stuff for 500 yen. Says, good morning from sunny Okinawa. Hey, good morning over there. Hope you're having a lovely morning. It's always fun to catch stream live. You look handsome as always. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be up late with you guys. McDuff stuff. Also, thank you for those 5 Lego Mindset memberships. Yes. Okay, this is super off topic. A Quell Happy for 15 says, hey, brother, what do you think of Moist Critical's outlandish claims about a genocide in Gaza while 41K Iranians are butchered in 2 nights? Hypocrisy? I don't follow Moist Critical enough to know about whether he's being hypocritical or not, but in most cases, I'll just say this as a generalism, right, without getting too into the politics here, is that many times when people are speaking on things, they don't have enough context, and certainly they're not taking into context other situations which can be worse, which can be worse or are worse that are going on at the time, right? So a lot of the political commentary is very narrow-minded, right? And Moist Critical has some bad takes. He's had some really bad takes, but he's also had some things I agree with, right? But he's had some really fucking bad takes. So that happens. All right. Fourth, Mizkif already admitted to the very things plaintiff claims are defamatory, which prohibits them from proceeding without making a defamation claim under Texas law. And fifth, plaintiffs fail to allege facts sufficient to throw any actual malice or falsity. So any one of those is enough to dismiss this. So they give 5 overarching reasons. We're going to get into those and get into the beef of those 5 overarching reasons. Any one of those is enough to dismiss this claim. So he's got a lot of reasons to dismiss this claim, Asmongold. Okay. Plaintiffs fail to put a complete statement or a source for any statement that they are allegedly concerning about. That's bad. They don't have any sources. Because whatever statement they're concerned about is not actionable as a matter of law. Mizkif had 2 opportunities now, but they still neglect to give Asmongold or the court the statement as a whole, or even a better portion of it or a source of it. They now apparently have the whole statements as well as Mizkif's own confessions and quotes, but fail to disclose them. So they're not saying what was defamatory. They're not actually giving it up. Both Hoyt and the court will need to evaluate each statement to see whether the statement is even actionable or capable of a defamatory meaning. So everything has to be examined. What exactly was the defamation? Asmongold still expects that Mizkif can reveal nothing more than opinions, which are constantly protected by the First Amendment and Texas law and not actionable, which is the reason why plaintiff's complaint is devoid of the required details. The only clip that Mizkif appears to be mentioning is a clip of defendant Asmongold giving public commentary a la a TV talk show about plaintiff's own public broadcast. Plaintiff Mizkif likely complains only about opinions, fair reporting, and truthful statements, or even someone reporting his own words. So Mizkif is likely only mad about opinions or his own words, which are not actionable. We cannot know with certainty from the amended complaint petition which portions of which things were allegedly said that upset plaintiff. This is the key. The parties produce hours upon hours of video daily, and Asmongold has the right to know what the complaint is about. Yet Texas law puts this burden firmly on plaintiffs as a threshold question. So they've got Mizkif has to come out here and say what is actually. So the problem is that what they're doing is they're just sending a whole video. So Mizkif is saying, oh yeah, somewhere in this video is a statement that's defamatory. Well, it's not our job. It's not someone's job to go parse through that and pick through that video and find out what's defamatory. You, as the plaintiff, have to come up with the exact thing and find out what the statement is that's defamatory. So, for example, if Asmongold called Mizkif a murderer, which he didn't, we're just making things up. This is a hypothetical, right? And that is definitely defamation because he's not a murderer, right? He's not a convicted murderer, right? Then he could say, okay, well, Asmongold called me a murderer here at timestamp 1 hour and 30 minutes into this. He called me a murderer. Okay, that's defamation. That's what you got to do. The burden is on the person who's going to accuse them of the defamation to come up with that. Defamation is not that easy. It's not easy. Aquel Happy, welcome as a new member. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Under these guidelines, plaintiffs face obvious problems with the allegations about Asmongold. Repeatedly repeating someone's statements about themselves cannot give rise to a defamation claim by that same person. Oh, by the way, let me get this one real quick. Techno Gadsby for 86 for 5 said, did you enjoy your AI appearance in Leaflet's recent Asmongold music video? Thought it was epic to see you and included and dished out some sweet justice. Oh yeah, me fighting Somali. That was great. That was a great one. I love those videos. That was a great. I did see that. It was amazing and very based. Thank you. Thank you. Great video. Okay. Let's continue here. Asmongold's alleged statements on his commentary on and the interpretation of Mizkif's own videos and written admissions to such things as violence, drug abuse, anger, maliciousness, and aggression. By definition, Mizkif cannot sue Asmongold for defamation for simply repeating and agreeing with some of Mizkif's own statements. Plaintiff, that is Mizkif, must show the statements they allege are defamatory. As noted above, Mizkif made a host of admissions on his own part, which were already part of the context of Asmongold's statements, and preclude Mizkif from seeking reputational damages as to things he said about himself. That alone kills their complaint. Boom. It's done. It's done based on Mizkif self-snitching. Mizkif already said these things, which precludes him from seeking relief. Plaintiff omits this from the complaint, meaning Mizkif isn't honest in what he's been filing, because including it would make it apparent that he lacks a valid defamation claim. It was apparent to any lawyer who was reading this that he's wasting the court's time, that this guy is wasting the court's time. The court could readily read and interpret, as any reasonable person might, looking at the statements themselves. Had the full statements and full publication been attached, it would have been clear that plaintiff's claim is largely a complaint about his own admissions. So true. Plaintiffs rely upon their own interpretation of what Asmongold said. Second, plaintiffs repeatedly rely upon self-serving interpretations of whatever is alleged that Hoyt said, making it difficult for Hoyt, that's Asmongold, a public commentator who has been asked about Mizkif, to know what plaintiffs are complaining about. This is so true. Let me focus on this for a second for you guys. So this is an internet thing, and this is the difference between the internet and the law, where people focus on the internet about their interpretation of what you're saying. So it's not about what you actually say. It's about how somebody felt about what you said. So Mizkif didn't like it. He felt bad. He felt attacked, right? But it's not about Mizkif's feelings about that. It's about what did he actually say. Because a lot of people on the internet interpret statements to mean things they don't. That happens very, 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 very often, right? So that's a lot of the problem there, right? That's a lot of the problem there. And shout out to everybody. I know we're live on Kick and on YouTube, so I appreciate everybody who's on all the platforms and also over there on Locals. I appreciate you guys as well. Okay, back to this. This is most clearly seen in paragraph 26 of Mizkif's complaint, which appeared in the original complaint as well, and merely alleges that he understood Hoyt to be saying that he hurt or manipulated or was an aggressor. So understand, Mizkif is saying, I interpreted Asmongold as saying that Mizkif hurt others or was an aggressor. All of that is plaintiff's interpretation of something, but of what we are left to guess. Well, how was he? I mean, punching a wall is pretty aggressive. So someone saying you're an aggressor because you punched the wall, who knows? Real Campbell Blue for 50 Norwegian krona says, Judge, how did you learn the defendant had defamed you? Mizkif, Your Honor, I made it up just to be a D. Yes, just for his little demon time. His little D, right? Very little D. Okay. Plaintiff's amended complaint includes a new example of this exact type of problem in paragraph 28, where it alleges that defendant Hoyt, Asmongold, referred to other sexual assaults, words which plaintiff had to add in the complaint, when in fact Asmongold never says sexual assault when they refer to it. And it seemed to generally be referring to Mizkif's own behavior, which he admitted to. And in fact, defendant Asmongold can be seen in another portion. They appear to be referencing to offering what is obviously his constitutionally protected opinion about Mizkif's own statements, to marginalize this and to say it was a toxic relationship, as Mizkif had on video. So yes, saying it was toxic is fine because, number one, toxic is just a negative assessment. It's not a crime. So if you're in a toxic relationship, that's not criminal. I've been in toxic relationships before. It happens, right? It's not a crime. It's a bad mistake. It's something you shouldn't be in, but yes. But anyways, ignoring the larger context and admissions that Mizkif had made, plaintiffs largely give a raft of after-the-fact characterizations of something that Mizkif perceived, that Mizkif should be in jail, claiming he was abusing and manipulating others, hurting other people, and becoming the aggressor. So that's what Mizkif alleges, right? If anything, plaintiff's amended complaint, Mizkif, does little to improve upon the original complaint. For instance, it now appears to tie the comment about hurting people to defendant Asmongold's explanation of his own feelings and whether he sympathizes with Mizkif, based upon Mizkif's own video explanations of his own conduct. But whether or not defendant Asmongold sympathizes with Mizkif is not actionable. So you cannot sue somebody because they don't sympathize with you. right? You cannot sue somebody because they don't like you. That's not something you can do. Mizkif declines to provide the publication from when the words allegedly came, so he's not providing any proof. C, plaintiff Mizkif fails to provide full statements by Hoyt and instead relies on a list of cherry-picked words and phrases with no context. The plaintiff's amended complaint adds a list of cherry-picked words, but declines to provide the full sentence or publication himself. In one example, his amended complaint now makes much of whether or not he said that he would destroy Emaru, right? So it's a big deal about whether Mizkif said he would, quote unquote, destroy Emaru. In his own video, Miss Renindo says that he told Emaru's people, I would go nuclear. And that is exactly what I said. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So going nuclear is to destroy somebody. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know if I can speak for Hiroshima and Nagasaki here, but like typically when you're saying go nuclear, you mean to destroy somebody. So I think those words are interchangeable. I think those words of destroy and go nuclear are interchangeable. I think that's a fair thing. Techno Gasby said, what's up with jaded women losing their for being involved in legal battles? First Amber Heard, now Denims, now Mizkif. Just eat the L and move on. Mizkif is acting a lot like a jaded lady, right? Which is why I think Don Bongwater's video is so appropriate. We're gonna watch that afterwards. Okay. Which, you know, it's his video. I don't endorse everything in it, but it's funny. So we're gonna watch it. Again and again. Plaintiffs decline to provide the context of the alleged defamatory statements as they're required to do in order to conceal the baseless nature of their defamation claim. Hoyt's statements are his opinions and not actionable. Fourth, plaintiffs seem to be complaining primarily about Hoyt's opinion. For instance, plaintiffs complain about a reference to hurting somebody without giving the full sentence, which would show about the comment itself is about defendant Hoyt. Asmongold may or may not choose to empathize with another party. He doesn't have to empathize with you, bro. Likewise, plaintiff's allegation about jail, which would show that defendant Asmongold offered an opinion about what might happen someday in the future if Mizkif made yet more bad choices in addition to the ones he made. That's true. Saying you might go to jail is your opinion, right? You can say that. Someone might go to jail in the future. Now, you can't say they've been in jail if they haven't, but you can speculate about the future. And that's, let's say, speculation about the future is both opinion and not defamatory at all. True. We cannot know for sure as to all the alleged quotes because Mizkif refuses to identify the statements which are problematic amidst thousands of hours of online content the parties publish. But the sparse quotes plaintiff has provided all appear to be statements of opinion, literal commentary about plaintiff Miss Riendo's own video recorded admissions to things. As plaintiffs admit, online commentators and streamers are continuously engaging with third-party comments and statements while streaming, often on the video themselves, which leads to a didactic community environment. It's true. Thus, plaintiffs need to specify whether they're complaining about something that Asmongold said or whether the real complaint is something in writing from a third party. And I think this is the key here. He's butthurt about the comments, okay? It's not about what Asmongold said. He's mad about the comments and where the comments are going. And this is very true of a lot of people, especially people who pay a lot of attention to all that, right? They're stuck about the comments and what the commenters are saying. And he's mad because the commenters are making leaps. You can't control that. As a content creator, how are you supposed to control that? You can't, right? You're not supposed to go. I mean, you can't go in and delete everything that people are speculating on or making comments on. That's not your job, right? To do that. Mizkif is just doing this to stay alive in the space. It's not working. Techno Gasby said for 5, isn't the TLDR to this? Is it possible to defame someone who's already damaged their own reputation by their own words? Did I miss a meeting? No, that's a good point. Overall, that's a very good point. If you've already damaged your own reputation, you've already nuked your own reputation, it's difficult to file for defamation. It really is. Plaintiffs declined to plead enough to actual reference to statements in some places to identify which actual statements are allegedly defamatory. So Asmongold might do the same and put their things into actual context, a context intentionally absent from plaintiff's complaint. For instance, Mizkif complains about a statement regarding Mizkif in jail. Mizkif should be in jail, is the comment. Should be. That's an opinion. Plaintiffs failed to give any specificity even in the admitted complaint. Asmongold can only identify one statement he made about jail. The comment was made during a video commentary about Mizkif's own admissions. After playing videos of Mizkif's own admissions for Asmongold's audience to see, a third-party member of his audience, a commenter, then asked Hoyt Asmongold whether he had an opinion on whether Mizkif was done because of his own statements and behavior. Asmongold offered an opinion and speculation in response to a commenter, right? So he's like a super chat, like me responding to super chats. Honestly, I think that he should take a break. He should try to legitimately just stop. I think that he will continue spiraling, and I think it might have actually reached a point. But I think that it will reach a point where he ends up doing something that ends him up in jail, straight up. I really do think that he should take a break, calm down. So Asmongold is saying he's going to spiral and end up in jail. And that's speculation and opinion. It's not saying he went to jail. That would be defamatory. It's he's going to spiral and he's going to do something that ends him up in jail. That's fair. You can speculate. You can do that. And by the way, that's not even bad advice. Yeah, that's an accurate assessment. Kolki 12 for 10 euros says Mizkif's demon time is more like Hentengu, Demon Moon 4 and Demon Slayer. I've not seen that. Playing Almighty, but essentially only running away. Time to get the demon slaying sword. There we go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Nothing about this statement is defamatory. It does not go. I was watching this evil lord isekai. It was pretty good actually before this. And I've also caught up on Freerun, by the way. Freerun is very based. Nothing about the statement is defamatory. It doesn't even go as far as to advocate that Mizkif should be in jail, despite Mizkif's own admitted history of violence and drug use. There you go. It is one more example of why the allegations should be dismissed, and it will fail on their face if presented as they originally appeared. Moreover, the Texas Supreme Court has already ruled that these types of statements are not actionable as defamation. Even if theoretically it could have been capable of defamatory meaning, even if other statements were defamatory, and even if someone ought to be in jail, the court found that the stronger statement is not actionable. Saying someone should be in jail is not defamatory under Texas law. Even though it found that other statements, such as accusing someone of bribery and or corruption, were actionable. In fact, the court even allowed referring to someone as a criminal once alone would not have been enough to find the defendant liable. This is why Texas is very difficult for defamation, right? Texas is very difficult for defamation because they allow stuff like that other states would not allow to fly, right? So stuff like allowing you to refer to someone as a criminal once is not enough to be liable for defamation. That's not true in other states, right? So careful with that. Nazareem as a new member, welcome. Thank you. Yes. Plaintiffs failed to sufficiently allege facts to state a cause of action for defamation under Texas law due to unclear allegations. Plaintiffs declined in some places to give a medium regarding the various things complained about, to the extent they're outside of a single video mention. As a result, defendant Asmongold does not always know whether plaintiff Mizkif is complaining about libel or slander. Plaintiff Mizkif now only mentions one video with regard to Asmongold, leaving one to wonder what the other allegations are about, if any, other than their interpretations of what is in a single video. Plaintiff Mizkif appears to mix and match these claims. Are plaintiffs attempting to stick Asmongold with statements made by Emaru? Probably. We do not know. And this is particularly challenging here, where plaintiffs' allegations against Asmongold are asked to statements that may be about Emaru's relationship with Mizkif. Plaintiffs muddy the waters regarding allegations by the two separate plaintiffs against two separate defendants without delineating which statements were made by and about whom that are subject to the court, and as to each defendant by each plaintiff. These things matter, and they implicate things such as fair reporting privilege, particularly as to Asmongold, a third-party commentator. Plaintiff's amended complaint provides no clarity, still declining to explain specifically what the claim is about. Nazareem also says for 20, I love your take on the EEOC ADA discrimination case I started against my own company. As team of lawyers already filed the EEOC. If it's about you personally, it's probably better if you want to send it to me privately and I'll take a look and give you some private comments. That's fine. Probably not a public thing that I would do on people's private claims. I don't really do that typically, outside of the big ones here that are of interest to everybody. But you can email me and I'm willing to give you some private comments. Not as a lawyer, but just as someone who's generally looking at stuff. Plaintiffs appear to base their defamation claim upon things more than 1 year after the initial publication of an allegedly defamatory statement. Some, if not all, plaintiffs' claims may be time barred. Texas law adopts the one publication such that old statements about Mizkif's violent incidents in the past are time barred altogether. Texas has adopted a 1 year statute of limitations. So they've got a statute of limitations. So they're saying, hey, look, this statute ran, right? So here, Mizkif may be complaining about the same past incidents that are now years behind Mizkif, such as an assault on Mr. Jones, which is captured by video, excerpts of which have been published around the world, complete with photos of injuries in the hospital visit, which has already been documented broadly. Of course, it is difficult to know for certain which statements may be time barred as the basis for defamation claim because Mizkif has failed to adequately identify and provide the publication for whatever statements are defamatory. So essentially saying there's some stuff that's hit the statute of limitations, but because Mizkif is not giving specifics about what's actually defamatory, they can't tell which ones are barred by the statute of limitations. Sure sent an email a couple months ago. Do you have a different one? Andrew Esquire, just resend it. Sorry if I missed it. Just resend it. Sorry, and I'll try to get it this time. Techno Gasby 86 for 10 says, how much of this is just a Hail Mary attempt for Mizkif to stay relevant in YouTube public eye? Probably a lot of it, right? A lot of it. His case is weak, but does it matter to him if people are talking about him and driving possible revenue? And maybe it's to get him attention too. Maybe this is actually sometimes a lawsuit can be to get him attention and get him something and make him relevant, right? So the lawsuit is his way to be relevant. I don't know. It ends up as a lawsuit and just doesn't end up well for him. Mizkif admits in his own words the very things he complains about. So the statements are incapable of being defamatory. Plaintiffs can allege no damages arising from Asmongold's statements because any damage, if it exists, was already created by his own statements. He was already owned by himself. Everything was done by himself. Plaintiffs must show a false statement of fact approximately caused damages. Mizkif widely published his own statements and admissions, all of which happened prior to Asmongold speaking. And many of them can even be seen in the video Mizkif is sued over, since it was playing these same statements back before any commentary by Asmongold. In Mizkif's video, he admits to violence, steroid-induced rage, lashing out, hurting people, and so on. And even had one commentator stating that his throwing things at his romantic partner was more than likely malicious. Yet that is exactly what he's suing about. His claims fail on all the allegations he already admitted in his own widely publicized video. Plaintiffs failed to allege facts sufficient to show actual malice. Texas law. What's up, Texas? What's up, chat? By the way, what's up, Jazz Cabbage? I see you there. What's up? Requires plaintiffs to show actual malice. A public figure already bears a substantial burden of proving actual malice by clear and convincing evidence. To establish actual malice, a public figure must prove the defendant made the statement with knowledge that it was false or reckless disregard for whether it was false. In this context, reckless disregard means entertaining serious doubts as to the truth of publication. Plaintiffs omits his source. Mizkif has no sources, right? The only statement that may be target is a commentary by Hoyt, including Mizkif's own admissions to the very things they sue about. This renders any attempt by plaintiff to characterize Asmongold's commentary as futile. I love that. I love that line. That's a good one. Mizkif cannot fault someone for relying on his own words that he is violent, uses drugs, is angry, aggressive, attempted to have sex with Emaru, and punches walls. Mizkif may not like his own words now, but he cannot sue Asmongold for reporting about them. Plaintiff must also show falsity. The U.S. Supreme Court stated that a statement on matters of public concern must be proven as false before there can be liability under state defamation law. So Texas law's got a whole. For example, the Texas Supreme Court found that even the phrase "y'all are the ones that ought to be in jail." I got that done right, guys? I got that. Y'all are the ones that ought to be in jail. Would not have led a reasonable person to think that a defendant was asserting that the plaintiff had actually committed a crime. So saying someone ought to be in jail is not enough under Texas law, right? And that example goes well beyond anything plaintiff alleges in his complaint. Pretty good? Pretty good. Okay. Pretty good. Okay. Thank you. I had to make an attempt on that one. I used to live in the South, like real South for a while, like North Carolina, not Florida, right? So I have a little bit of, I got a little bit of hillbilly in me. That was a horrible Thai accent. Kotod. Plaintiffs obviously run into problems because Mizkif has already admitted to most, if not all, what he complains about. We're one to see the sources for his admitted complaint. Mizkif does not appear to be conceding that his own words and implications from them were false. In fact, he goes out of his way to mention what he said. Nor could defendant Hoyt be liable for listening to, agreeing with, or expressing opinions about Mizkif's words. It does not appear that plaintiff can show falsity with regard to the things he's complaining about. In conclusion, plaintiff's claim for defamation against Asmongold fails to identify complete allegatory defamatory statements and context. In fact, the plaintiffs fail to provide the publication itself or the sentences it was yanked from. Nice. Instead, plaintiff Mizkif primarily offers Mizkif being upset at his own characterization of things, leaving the court and Hoyt Asmongold to guess. Mizkif therefore fails to state a claim that entitles Mizkif to relief. Mizkif did not even include any allegations related to the corporate plaintiff entity or any pertinent statements related at all. Bro, massive L. Massive L. Bro, he doesn't even have any statement. He doesn't have shit on OTK or Mythic, right? He has zero on OTK or Mythic. In sum, plaintiffs filed a federal lawsuit without providing the publication or statements for the court or Asmongold to analyze. The defamation claim against Asmongold should be dismissed pursuant to Rule 12b-6 in all these matters. Therefore, they respectfully request the court grant the Asmongold's motion to dismiss, which he's already provided a form of. Dismiss the lawsuit with prejudice. Yep. Any alternative, order plaintiffs to replead and grant Asmongold all the other relief it seems just and proper. And there's by the attorney, right? Okay. There we have it. We've got the motion to dismiss, guys. That is absolutely golden from the lawyers for Asmongold. I think that thing is going to get granted to me because it's just so on the nose. It's so appropriate. And to me, there's really no way that Mizkif gets away with that with the level of proof that he's provided. I think he's got to go in there and put something different, or it's not going to be a claim. I think it's going to get blown out of the water. So this is why I am predicting this thing goes down in favor of Asmongold, because it's so clear from a legal standpoint. It's mind-boggling. Good morning and happy Tuesday from Panum Tani. Oh, hey, Swaddy Cop. I'm kind of shocked you started the stream at 5 a.m. I've been up late. I've been living on real demon time, which is up at night. And I just want to make my time productive. We've got a fast facts coming up on clavicular. But before that, I do want to preview, because we got 3,000 people. We might as well preview. The Mizkif situation is super gay by Don P. Bongwater. Which I've got over here. I have a cameo in this. So this is going to be interesting. So we'll just play this and kind of let this rock out, and then we'll go to the fast facts, right? So let's just play this thing and let this thing rock. This is by Don P. Bongwater on his video. This is definitely some good work here. I've seen about half of it, but so we're gonna get through all of it. Let's just play the video.
Fox News, where retardation and autism meets.
Good evening and welcome to this special edition of Fox News. Tonight we have a special report on a middle-aged man who is so gay the rainbow doesn't have enough colors to represent him. He was briefly on the Crash Out report, but he walked off mid-interview. We sent Mindset Legal back out to try and finish the story. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh,
I love the suit. I gotta get a suit like that.
Mizkif,
I gotta get a suit like that.
little pillow princess twink, with pink on dip Capri Thorn, dreams of boy.
This is meme magic. All AI generated.
Super mega ultra gay. Love it the deep.
Here's your has an accent.
Every single day. He's a homo. Super mega ultra gay. Love it the deep.
The Kirby. No, not the Kirby. Not the Kirby.
Every single day. Mizkif is so very, very gay.
I'm not gay. I don't know where people got that impression of me.
What the fuck is this? What is this?
Eggman. Oh no.
This is just demon time, you know? The real person who caused most of my life to be torn apart is actually Tectone.
Fuck that bitch, Miss Kitty, whatever he calls himself. I'd beat that shitbag in.
He won't love me back, and really this is all his fault.
Yeah, he's just a turbo pussy.
This is just Judgment Day, really. Like, I tried showing how much I cared.
Missy once told me anything is a dildo if you are brave
Is that
enough.
supposed to be Charlie?
He didn't like
Who
me,
is that?
so I, don't like him anymore. I'm suing everyone I can because Tectone made me do it by not appreciating my love. Cunt! If he won't support me emotionally, then I'll make him support me financially.
Oh no.
Are you mindset legal?
You know I am, Missy Kitty.
I already told you, it's Mizkif.
Missy, this place is fucking gross.
Don't talk shit, I'll sue you like that one bitch for throwing plushies at me.
Anyways, good to see you. Last time we spoke, you left in a hurry, and you weren't too kind to the audience. Why did you leave?
I found out I still had a gag reflex, but I wanted it removed so I could try and make Tectone love me again.
You're gay for Tectone?
Oh God. No.
I thought you said he had a micro penis, so why would you need to remove your gag reflex?
Oh no.
I don't want to talk about that. I'm not gay. He's gay. He just needs to admit it. I also want a sugar daddy to pay for all these allegedly malicious lawsuits. Change the subject.
Is that why you are dressing up like a drag queen again? We have multiple clips and images of you cross-dressing, and you even tried a red dress on at one point.
Back.
Whoa! That was good!
Oh,
it's coming back? Oh!
Open. I look like the fucking angry lady from Shrek.
Is that Frogan? Is he doing this for Frogan?
Dude, what the fuck am I doing?
You did that with Frogan? Oh no. Frogan flashbang.
No.
Wait a minute. I feel the sponsor's coming back. I don't need girls for a thumbnail. I could be the thumbnail. I'm so powerful. I've leveled up.
Is that red dress like a lobster? That's bullshit. Have you been watching that boss? I cross-dress because it makes me feel pretty. Froggen helped me with my makeup again, too.
All right, Mizkif, you're deflecting now. According to Stream Analytics, you aren't doing too well right now and are desperate for collabs and sponsors. Why are you burning every bridge you can? It doesn't make any sense. It's because I'm hot. All these fuckers are jealous of me. According to these numbers, most of your viewers are from Tectone, but they don't like your incredibly gay actions. In a poll, they only watch to farm clips. What's your response?
No.
All this would stop if he let me rub his bald head and be with him. Going down on things isn't always bad. I go down all the time. He really hurt my feelings with the invitation to his wedding with Shinya.
No.
Deflecting again. Let me ask you another question, Miss Queef. What's with all the holes in the wall and the plushies you seem to hate? Another projection?
Kirby is so classic. The Kirby with a knife in
Missy, why are you gay?
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. It was just a simple question.
You certainly got sand in your vagina over that one.
Well, that certainly was a disaster.
Yeah, he's deep in the closet. That was the most insane interview I've ever had the displeasure of attempting. Didn't want to answer questions and just wanted to blame everyone else for falling off.
Why was he so gay, especially for Tectone?
Fox you. I have no earthly idea why he is so incredibly gay. The only person I've ever seen with a case of gay that bad is Hassan for Asmongold.
Oh no, Hassan!
It seems that Mizzy still wants the jizzy. Coming up, the Epstein files mention Brock Lobster, former ICE agent, Mysterious Indian Festival.
Good stuff. Very good stuff from Don Bongwater. Appreciate that. Sir Jackson, close it on 2 years. Thanks for the content. Appreciate it. Hang around. Don't go anywhere right now. You guys are going to go over to the Fast Facts version, which is going to be on clavicular and on all that. Let's see. Just a Bank has a suit you might want to check out. That'd be a good one. I will rock that suit. I'm also getting my Menace Crew merch today. I have to go to FedEx in like another area of the town to get that, but we're getting that stuff from the Bongwater squad. So anyways, very based, very fun. Stick around. Fast Facts is up right now. Peace.
You are coping the ceiling. You just can't believe what you're seeing. It's you coping the ceiling. The truth it is all day, and now you are molding.